to another episode of Wow You Can Cook. And today you are in the kitchen with Dr. Gloria and you are making sticky pomegranate Asian chicken. Woohoo! Hi, Dr. G.
Hi, Ann. It's so good. We had such a fun time sharing before we started recording the actual show. So those of you that don't want to eat rice like me, use quinoa or use this white rice risotto or white rice, any kind of the white rice varieties instead of rice if you don't care to do that because of the carbs and obviously for certain health conditions like diabetes. A patient of mine who cannot eat rice because of diabetes, and she's actually allergic to rice, found these, and oh my God, they're addicting. This is risotto, white rice risotto. Now, we all know that risotto has cream and it's delicious when it's rice. This is all made from vegetables. Tracy, you're gonna love this. And it's creamy Parmesan style. This is this one. They have about 5 different varieties. I made it last night with a piece of salmon. It is amazing. You don't add anything but water. And it is, listen to this, but it does have chickpeas and stuff, which I don't think Tracy eats, but that's different for all of us. It's got lentil flour, chickpea flour, pea fiber, sunflower oil, sea salt, dehydrated garlic and onion, parsley, natural flavors, spices, and lemon juice. And it has, in the package, it has less than 1 gram of sugar, and in the entire package is 30 grams, and this is 4 servings. So it's not high, and it's all made from vegetables. And it says, let me read it to you quickly. Italian-style risotto made right at the power of the veggies. We love risotto, and that's what inspired us to create a modern and dairy-free twist on classic Italian risotto. Now you can, risotto. Now you can enjoy a creamy, flavorful bowl of risotto that's easy to prepare and packed with more plant-based protein and fiber with fewer carbs, way fewer carbs. Enjoy our culinary-inspired creamy Parmesan. And it doesn't have cheese, it's dairy-free. I don't know how they do it, but it's delicious. Then they have one more I'll share with you, and the white rice from vegetables, remember, and this is, you can't read it, garlic herb. So they have several varieties. Before you run to a store to try to find it, go on their website. I did it this morning because I bought them, at Thrive. Just put in rightrice.com. It'll give you recipes. It'll tell you the varieties they have. And there again, we don't have to use rice. You can make any of your Asian dishes, for instance, that like today, you could use that instead of rice if you wanted to put your sticky chicken, your pomegranate chicken that we're cooking today. So I hope that gives you just some options. One, for a quick sauce, it's healthy and it's really good. It is a lot for one person. You'd be able to get 3 or 4 servings out of this. And then the white rice is about 3.5 to 4 servings per package. And they're not expensive. So there again, you could make it enough for one person. And you just add water. You don't add milk or anything else. I cheated and I'm such an addict to butter. So I put a dab of organic butter in it last night, which made the risotto even creamier. And it's delicious. So I hope that helps all of you. So today we're going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to give you what to do all at once rather than reading the ingredients. So first I want thumbs up on everybody that has their chicken cut and prepped. Thumbs up, you've cut it all, it's ready? Okay. For those of you cooking, it's okay, Lisa, I see you're not cooking. It's okay, it's fun to watch. So you learn it, and you learn anyway, right? Okay, so now you're going to put that in a bowl and you're going to add 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. Now, if you wanted to use, I have a patient that said she made it. She cannot do avocado oil. So she just melted slowly in a double boiler her coconut oil. So you can use that if for some reason you don't do well with avocado oil. a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of black pepper or more, like I like it with more, a half a teaspoon of ground ginger. You can use fresh ginger if you prefer. I prefer it when I have it. And when I have the fresh ginger, I have a coffee grinder that is strictly for spices and herbs. Bought it for $9 when it was on sale years ago, right after Christmas. And I marked it herbs and spices only, so nobody that happens to visit accidentally grinds coffee in it. But it's a great way to grind all that into a very small piece instead of sitting there and trying to cut all the ginger, especially when you're making a sauce. So you're going to add the half a teaspoon roughly of ground ginger and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And remember, when I say garlic or onion powder, it doesn't mean you can use salt instead. It'll be way too salty. It's actually onion powder and garlic powder. And you're going to add that to the chicken that you've already got in a bowl, all cut up. And you're going to mix it until everything is evenly distributed, nicely coated. And then you're going to set that mixture aside for about 10 minutes. And that's to give it time to be able to infuse all of the flavors. And in the meantime, have you all whipped your egg? One egg, it said on the recipe to whip it. You've whipped it. Thumbs up. Jill, okay, everybody's got it whipped. Linda's showing us, Tracy, that she's got it whipped. Okay. And that you can toss in now into the mixture, or you can wait 10 minutes. I toss it in right away so I don't forget. I've been known to leave it on the counter and forget to add it. So if you've already whipped your egg, go ahead and toss it into the chicken mixture. Give it a good toss. Let it sit on the counter. And now, so you're going to do 10 minutes of that roughly. And then you're going to add your half a cup of cornstarch. Now, somebody messaged me and said, can I use, instead of cornstarch, can I use arrowroot? Yes, you can. Anytime something says it needs to be thickened. So you can use arrowroot, you can use cornstarch, or I like rice flour, organic rice flour, when I want a nice silky gravy or a nice silky sauce, because there's nothing like white rice flour. And you're not using a lot in most recipes. However, in this one, it's a half a cup. So if you can't do corn, or you don't choose to, arrowroot is a really good option. Okay, you're not going to use a half a cup if it's arrowroot. Put in maybe half of that, a fourth of a cup, and then you'll be able to adjust the desired thickness as you go, because everyone has a different point of thickness. Okay, so now you're going to add that half a cup of cornstarch or your thickener to the chicken mix until all the chicken is coated with whatever you used as a thickener. Okay, now keep in mind, you're not going to know necessarily if it's thick enough if you're using other than cornstarch. So what you do then is later on, as you cook the sauce, if it's not getting thick enough for you, just dissolve a little bit more of the arrowroot or whatever you're using in a little bit of water or coconut milk in this case, and just dissolve it, whip it, and add it in slowly so that you can continue to thicken it. Okay? Now you're going to go ahead, and we're not going to do the sauce yet. We're going to go ahead and start cooking the chicken. It hasn't been 10 minutes yet, so make sure that you have everything ready for the sauce. And let's talk about the ingredients before we do anything with it. So you're going to combine, you're leaving the chicken sit with all of the spices and the thickener. Now you're going to combine your 2/3 cup of Bragg's or coconut aminos. Now, I got questions asked again by message. What's the difference in the flavor or the use of coconut aminos or Bragg's? Remember that Bragg's and coconut are both salty. So if you're using them in a recipe, wait till the end before you add too much salt, even if the recipe says add it, unless you really like it salty. Coconut aminos adds a little bit of a sweet taste.
Sweet.
Now, in this case, the recipe we used last week, Tracy, if you remember, I said, nah, don't use coconut aminos. But in this recipe, either one is okay, because coconut aminos is a little sweet, and you've got a sweet sauce going, a sweet, sticky Asian sauce. So coconut aminos is fine. I still use only Bragg's. I just don't happen to prefer coconut aminos, but they're both healthy and they're both salty. So you're accomplishing the same as adding soy sauce. If you don't want to add aminos, you can use soy sauce, but it should be gluten-free. Okay? And organic gluten-free is the best. You don't want it with anything else added for a shelf life or anything like that. So now you're going to put your 2/3 cup of whatever you used in aminos, a 1/2 cup of pomegranate juice, and hopefully you bought the unsweetened all 100% like from Palm. I bought the little 8-ounce bottle of it. 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, which
Can
we
I
use
add
a lot
something
of.
to that?
Yeah,
So rice
sure.
vinegar, you guys, when you look at the labels on rice vinegar, a lot of it has sugar in it, and they put a lot of sugar in it.
Yes.
So you want to get unseasoned rice vinegar, which that doesn't have sugar, in my opinion. Now, I don't
No,
know.
you're right. You're right, because it has a lot of sugar. I buy I buy one that doesn't have it. You're looking at yours, Magda. Thanks, Tracy. That I forgot to mention that. Does that have, is that Kiko Man? Manukan. Okay, Manukan doesn't have sugar, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No,
Good.
that's the one I use. And
Yeah.
and a tip for all of you that are going to be these wonderful gourmet culinary experts when we get done with all these shows. I don't know that we'll ever be done. I buy the Manukan and then I get the gallon from Amazon. It comes out to half the price. Then I just use a little funnel and I refill that small bottle, which fits in my cupboard easier than a gallon. The gallon's in the pantry. So it really comes out. I figured it out per ounce and it's half price. So Manukan is the one I use. Now, I don't know if Kiko Man is sugar-free. I don't think it is. Do you know, Tracy?
Well, I think they have both seasoned and unseasoned. That's why you need
Oh,
the labels.
uh-huh.
So yeah, I found that
Okay,
out
so
by mistake.
okay, good. By mistake. Isn't that how we learn? So yes. So a Manukan I know doesn't have sugar, and that's the one that Magda just showed us. What do
Jill,
you have, Miskin?
go
Does that
ahead.
have? Can't hear you, Jill. Unmute, or Linda can unmute you.
There you go.
Does that have sugar?
You're muted, babe.
This is no sugar.
Good.
Miskin.
Oh, and what's the brand? Mizkan.
Yes, zero sugar.
Okay. Miskin. Miskin is the way you pronounce it. Mizkan. Okay, so
Yes.
that's another one. So just I mean, I'm going to teach you all how to be expert label readers because I got sabotaged Saturday. I'll tell you about that if we have time. With MSG that I didn't know was in something, and I'm all swollen all over. It's going to take me 3 or 4 days to get over it, even though I know what to take. And they changed the recipe of something that I bought. And it wasn't until later that I realized it had MSG under an alias, which we will have a whole program about. Tracy and I are going to teach you how to read labels. Now you're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of monk fruit powder. That eliminates using too much sugar. And then 2 finely minced cloves of garlic. Now, I like it a little more garlicky, so I used more than that. I used 4, but that's your taste. And the last thing is 1 teaspoon of grated ginger. Worst case scenario, if you make this recipe, use ginger powder. Okay? That's fine. I've done it when I didn't have ginger and it comes out just as good. So that is the recipe, that is the mixture for the sauce. Now it's about 12 minutes, so let's go ahead and start cooking. Place your skillet on medium heat and add, I said, enough coconut oil to cover the bottom of the skillet by about 1/2 inch. Remember, we're basically frying the chicken. That's the way the Asian chicken is done. If you can't handle that much oil, use less, but make sure that it's covered, as I've said previously, at least half of the piece of chicken. If it's barely in the oil, it's not going to brown. You need to have that piece of chicken covered at least half of the way up. So put your oil on roughly about medium high. You want it to get hot, but you don't want to burn it. Okay, and make sure that it's nice and hot before we start putting chicken in it. because then you're going to start putting the chicken in it little by little, depending on the skillet that you have. Now, if you have a nice big skillet like Tracy and I do, that's, you know, La Crusade or one of the big ones, or a big cast iron, you can probably put it all in at once. But if you have a smaller skillet, you'll have to do it in stages. Does everybody have a skillet? You can probably do it at once, do you think? Big enough? Okay, Sandy does. Linda? Magna, is yours big enough, hon?
Barely.
Barely. Okay, so if you find that it's not browning, you might want to just do it in 2 batches, Magna.
Okay.
Okay, so that you want to make sure it gets well browned. Jill,
Okay.
is your skillet big enough for one layer? Okay, perfect. I love it. Thumbs up. It makes it easy for all of us. Okay, so remember, when it starts dancing, when we get waves of wellness in our oil, how do you like that, Tracy? When we get waves of wellness, it's got little waves, or it's spitting at you. Or if you want to try it the way I do, I put my hands under the kitchen faucet and just sprinkle some water in it. And if it jumps, then you know that it's ready. Linda has a question. Can you unmute her?
Yeah, sure.
Linda- Which Linda? Me?
No,
Okay.
that's okay. Linda LC, go ahead.
Okay, does the chicken, is it real gooey looking?
Yep.
Okay,
It's gooey because remember, it's going to be crispy, like a sweet and sour.
okay.
So it is gooey. Yes. Thank you. Great term, gooey. But yes, it is. Okay, so when that oil, put your thumbs up when your oil is hot enough that it starts. And if it's not hot enough, put your fire up a little bit to medium high or high. I know when Tracy was cooking, I always used to say, put it a little higher. Let's get it brown. And I'm on a silly electric stove, which I hate. So if I put it high, I burn everything. I threw away 3 sauces I'm experimenting with for some vegetarian menus last week because they all stuck, even though I stood right there. On a gas stove, that wouldn't have happened. So we make the best of what we have. And right now, I'm stuck with an electric stove. Okay.
And we have to add while we're waiting that Jorgen sent over a picture of a vegetarian, what would you call it, version of this recipe. So that was fun to see.
Oh, did he? Okay, I haven't seen that. Thank you, Jorgen. I love it when you do that.
Magda
And
has
I
a
have
question.
created 4 new ones that are all vegetarian that we'll be doing soon. I just had to test them. One of those was the sauce I threw away that I had to redo. Okay, Magda, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to show you my pan. Can you see
Okay.
it?
Yes, now I can.
Do you see how it's foamy, the oil? Is that okay? Is it because of the corn?
It's because of the cornstarch. It's okay. Just keep stirring it so you don't have lumps. Yeah, it's fine. And that's the gooey part that Linda LC was talking about.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so when your oil is dancing or you have the waves of wellness, start browning your chicken. You want it to be nice and brown on one side, and then you're going to flip it to the other. But don't flip it until one side is brown. Test it, lift it up with tongs, make sure it's brown, because if you keep moving it, it doesn't brown. You want the underside to be crisp. Okay, and then that way, when they're both crisp and they're small pieces, you know that it's cooked all the way through. If you're cooking in batches, cook your first batch, turn it, make sure it's crispy on both sides, and then set it aside and put your next batch in. Maybe put it on paper towels or a paper plate so that it absorbs any extra oil. You have to fry it in enough oil, but you don't need to eat it floating in oil. So that's why you want to absorb it. I like paper towels. I've tried paper plates that one of my patients said she uses, and she teaches culinary arts at one of the junior colleges, and it doesn't work. It doesn't absorb it like a paper towel. So I just use a couple paper towels. Everybody doing okay? Thumbs up if you are. Thumbs up, ladies.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Sandy, you doing okay?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Job, Sandy.
Jill? Thumbs up. Okay. So let me know when your chicken has been turned on both sides and browned, and then we're going to add the sauce, and that's where the magic happens. But you're going to get rid of any excess oil from the pan as well. Remember, you don't want to taste oil. You don't want it floating in oil. You just want it to be nice, crispy, and just enough oil in the bottom of the pan that you can put the sauce in and it's not going to stick. You don't want it floating in oil. So I'll tell you while you're doing all that, there is in our famous big grocery store, I don't want to mention names on camera, that's in Texas only that I love. I'm a total fan. They have fresh sushi that they make. And once a month or so, I'll treat myself to a little dish of, 6 or 8 sushi, and I get the vegetarian one. Well, and they're all Chinese people making it. In every store, they have this special Chinese sushi bar. So I went in there and I said, I don't see the one that I get that's the California roll. I don't want any salmon today because I'm having it for dinner. I think they just made some new one. And I didn't look at the label because I assumed it was the same one I always get. And sure enough, they have vegetable protein in it. That is the legal alias, one of them, for MSG. Wow. I didn't look at the label until I got home later. We had our sushi. About an hour later, I'm sitting here with this right hand, and this whole part of my muscle sank in. I mean, it's like when people have a gluten sensitivity, and Tracy, you can relate to that. This whole part, and I tried to move my thumb to pick up my glass, and I couldn't. Everything in my body started hurting. My hip joints were like somebody had beat me up. My arms, every soft tissue in my body was hurting. And Brian said, get the label out. They must have changed something. And he was right, because I saved the labels from the previous one and we got it out of the drawer and it wasn't the same. They changed their recipe. So they've added something, whether it's an ingredient or whether it's in their wasabi, I don't know. It wouldn't be in their ginger, pickled ginger, but I was in agony. I'm doing better now. So I'm not going to give you medical advice. We don't do that on QHS, but I'm going to tell you what I did to help get it out of my system quicker. Get some high potency vitamin C powder, put it in warm water, not hot, because you don't want to kill the vitamin C. I warm the water in my teapot. So I put cold water first in my cup with the vitamin C. Then I slowly add the hot water until it's warm and the vitamin C is dissolving. It will not work if it's a capsule. And that is what, is she burning something? Oh, she's burning something.
No.
Linda, Elsie, what are you doing?
What's going on? My smoke alarm.
My God.
It's
You
not,
don't have to get it that hot.
it's not really burned. One piece is, but it's really was smoking a lot.
Mine is real, mine's real sensitive too, but she's waving her hands like, oh my God, something's on fire. Everything okay?
I had to
Okay.
turned it off.
Okay. So what you do is you dissolve it in warm water, like a warm cup of tea, not boiling. You can add some stevia because it's very bitter when you use plain vitamin C. And then I use a homeopathic, and I'm not legally supposed to tell you which one, but it's made from bee venom. So any of you that know homeopathics will know that. Tracy, is it okay to say which one I use since it's my personal experience?
We always say what we use. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to
Okay.
me,
So I used Apis, A-P as in Paul, I-S. I am a homeopath. I always have Apis on hand. And if you use that, it is made from bee venom. So it is it counteracts any reaction that you have that is red, hot, swollen, or itchy. In other words, a bee sting, an insect bite, and you get all red and swollen or whatever. So it's red, hot, itchy, or swollen. And Apis that you can buy over the counter at a health food store is amazing for that. So I took the vitamin C first, then the Apis, and I did another round of the Apis, not the vitamin C, because it can give you some GI. You know, I didn't want to have to get up in emergency in the middle of the night with loose stools. So I only took the one because my 1 teaspoon of vitamin C is 4,000 milligrams, 4,350. It's a prescription strength. So I didn't want to have to take more than 1 teaspoon, but it calmed it down to the point where I slept without the pain. I was miserable. It's like somebody had beat me up. So that's important for you to know. The vitamin C right away, it oxygenates the tissues, and vitamin C reduces inflammation, as does the Apis homeopathic, which is for anything red, hot, swollen, or itchy. Linda, Jorgen has his hand up.
Yeah,
Oh,
why,
he's
why,
unmuted. Okay.
why do
He's
you
unmuted.
use warm water for C vitamin?
Say that again.
Why do you have to use warm water?
Because when you're having an allergic reaction, it gets into the cells immediately. Cold water takes longer to go through the digestive system. That's a good question. You just don't want it hot.
And how much gram C vitamin do you use?
Usually it's about 4,000 milligrams for an adult for an allergic reaction. For a child, it would be 1,000. So that's 4 grams, right? If I'm converting right, learning my new metric system, it would be about 4 grams. That's what we would use, for instance, in my clinic when a person had an allergic reaction, okay? But that's why you use the warm, so that it immediately goes into the cells, adds oxygen, and helps reduce the inflammation. Okay, how are we doing with the chicken?
Nice and
See how
brown.
much
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
thumbs up. See how much you're getting on our show besides
Thumbs up.
just cooking? That's what I wanted. I wanted us to share tidbits that all of us can use in our life. Okay, so if the chicken is nice and brown on both sides, either take it out of your skillet and drain it, or if you're able to remove the excess grease, go ahead and remove it. And then as soon as you do that, we're going to add our pomegranate mixture, allowing the sauce to simmer, to coat all of the chicken. Linda, Elsie, go ahead, hon.
I took my pan off the stove for a while. Should it reheat before I put the sauce in?
No,
Matter.
no, you don't have to. Go ahead and put it in, put it back on the stove, and just keep stirring it, and it'll start getting thick. Did you use cornstarch? Okay, it'll get thick. Yeah, so go ahead and keep stirring it, put it back on your stove. Because you've added your crispy chicken by now. And you're just going to keep stirring it until it's all coated well and your sauce is thick. And then take a piece out and taste it. Now, you know, Dr. G, I make mine the night before. I know Magda has said that she likes it better the next day too when we make something.
Yeah.
Right, Magda?
That's
yeah,
right.
the flavor. Yeah. So this is amazing the next day. Now, for those of you that are vegetarian, I have made this with mushroom, and I have made it just to put over the right rice or quinoa, because it's the Asian sweet and sour sticky flavor we're looking for. It does not have to be chicken. If you want to make it vegetarian, put it over anything you want that you would be able to enjoy a sweet and sour sticky type sauce, okay? Linda, do you have it?
Linda Elsie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
you're
looks like she's
unmuted,
got a
girl.
question.
Oh, I'm fine.
You're unmuted. Go ahead.
I'm fine.
Did you have a question? Okay, thought you had a question. Okay, so everybody stir it in until it gets thick. Taste a piece. And then let us know what it's like.
Okay, so
Just long enough for the chicken's already cooked. Just long enough for the sauce to thicken. and bubble a little bit, and you know that it's penetrating into the chicken that way. And it'll be much better tomorrow. Go ahead, you're unmuted,
Oh,
Linda
Linda?
Elsie.
Okay, I'm the one that used the arrowroot. It doesn't look like it's thickening very well, so you said put some in warm water and
Yeah,
add
just
it.
put it in a little bit of, and add it, yeah, and then keep stirring so it thickens. Did everybody else use cornstarch?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Jill, you did? Sandy, did you use cornstarch, hon?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, arrowroot acts really different.
So when do we add the chicken?
Now, you add the chicken now, put the sauce in with the
Sauce.
chicken now, and then just let it bubble so that it gets the flavor of the sauce. And once your sauce is thickened, it's done. That's what I want you to take a piece, cut it, and taste it.
Do we add the veggies too already, the broccoli and the carrots?
You
Yeah.
can, if that's what you're going to add. Yeah, I didn't add any to mine, but you can, yes.
It was on the recipe.
On the recipe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can add that. I always steam mine first because I can't chew them well. But if you like them a little al dente, they're really better al dente if you put them in the recipe. So that's the best way to do it. I just unfortunately can't do it that way. And then you usually will serve it with a garnish of sesame seeds if you'd like. You don't have to. Sometimes sesame seeds for people with a jaw problem or a tooth problem cannot do the sesame seeds like I can't. So what I do is I cheat and put a little bit of dark sesame seed oil on the top when I serve it, and it's delicious. It still gives you the sesame flavor without
That is
having
a
to have the actual seeds.
That is a distinct
That's
flavor,
what?
so that's a distinct flavor,
Yeah.
so that's a good add to this recipe, yes.
Yes. Oh, you mean the sesame seeds are distinct?
Sesame and sesame seed oil, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Do
they're
you
very
keep your
different, but if
sesame
you-
seed oil in the refrigerator by chance?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Because it goes rancid real easy.
Yeah.
Okay, Jill, you're eating. Unmute.
Yummy.
How is it?
Yummy.
Yummy? Is
You
it?
guys,
Is
and
it
I
stick?
even
Is it
spilled my
sticky?
sauce. It's sticky. I did have to add a little cornstarch to it, just barely, but it's delicious. And I managed to spill my sauce because I had mixed it all together, and I tipped my cup, and I had to quickly remake it even in the middle of all this
Oh.
today. So it's delicious. Thank
Okay.
you, G.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. But Jill, this is one thing important. You did the recipe originally as I wrote it, right? The amount of
Yes,
cornstarch.
All of
Okay.
it.
But since you found that it's not thick enough, make a note when you print the recipe so that next time you don't forget.
Okay.
Because I always think I'm going to remember and I don't. So you have to make yourself all kinds of cheat sheets, okay? Of
I got
notes.
that
I
problem
cook so
too.
much that yeah. So make a note if something is, wow, I would like it a little sweeter or a little, less vinegary or whatever. Make a note because a recipe is a guide. It's not set in stone. Remember. Anybody else ready to taste theirs? No.
Not yet.
Do you
And good
happen to have a
recovery,
picture
Jill.
of Jorgen's dish that you can put up, Tracy, or not?
Yeah. Yeah, hold on, let me find
I
it.
want
Oh,
to see that.
that was easy.
I want to see his vegetarian version. Was it good, Jorgen?
Yes, I
Good.
enjoy it.
It had a lot of veggies
Good.
in it, so that's awesome.
That's great. Oh,
What-
wow.
What was your base, Jorgen? What did you use instead of chicken?
I normally use mushrooms and lentils,
Mhm.
and then I
That
cut it
looks
in
great.
cut it in small pieces and use the other ingredients. Yes,
Nice.
Wow. That looks amazing.
thank
That
you.
looks amazing. Thank you for sharing. So yes, you just cut up everything in small pieces so that and I love that sauce on anything that has to do with lentils. I've used it on split peas. I've used it on, what else have I used it on? I used it on something else. I don't remember now, but it was a legume. It wasn't, I think it was split peas because that's all I had one day and it's delicious. Somebody
Excellent.
else had their
LC.
hands up.
Linda
Yeah,
Elsie.
Linda had it.
Mine seemed really, really salty. So I went ahead and it thickened pretty good. I added some more water and my vegetables, and that seemed to tone it down a little bit.
Okay, so what do you think of if it's too salty? Make sure that did you use coconut or Bragg's aminos?
Bragg's aminos. So I need to put down maybe a half a cup instead of 2/3 of a cup.
Yeah, me
Or
too.
even less than that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can always add the Bragg's later. Keep this in mind because you're using that like the salt. You don't even have to add salt to any recipe if you're using Bragg's. Taste it, and here's why. If you cook something, and like an egg, if you cook an egg and you don't put salt and then you put it on top, it doesn't taste good because it kind of sits there. It doesn't melt, right? Aminos immediately blends. So you don't even have to salt. You can literally add your aminos and then add a little more later. So, err on the side of less salt or less aminos. And then at the end, if you use liquid aminos, you can use that as your salt. That's another option, okay? So make a note. Yes?
Sure.
Okay, got it.
Another question.
Magda, have you tried yours yet?
Yeah, mine is salty too, just like Linda's. Too salty, so
Okay, too salty. So let's not do salt.
recipe for next time.
Just use, next time and so now to take that salt taste away, add a little bit more, if you have it, the juice and a little more rice vinegar and it'll take it away.
Okay.
That's how you neutralize the sweet. So use your pomegranate juice if you have a little more and a little more rice vinegar and it'll completely take that extra salt flavor away.
By the way,
So
pomegranate.
like I said, say that again.
Pomegranate juice is delicious. I never had it before. I just had the never the juice. And
wait till you read the article I'm writing about it. I didn't know that it had some new studies that I just researched, and the health benefits are unbelievable. They're using it for things that I would have never thought of. So Tracy, you'll like that when you see what they're saying about it, because I always thought, oh, it's too high in natural sugar. I don't want to have some, and I can't have a lot. But the latest research that I just got from Europe is amazing. So I'm writing an article about it so that you can all know what the benefits are.
Even grinding the outside pulp after it's dried is used as a powder for medicinal purposes. So hopefully we'll start using more pomegranate.
Yeah, I've never done that, but I know it's in the research. I just haven't delved into that yet. Good point. Yeah, and you can freeze it to keep it fresh. Yes.
Yes,
Linda, Elsie, go ahead.
Tracy question. I bought the palmini, and I mean, just cook it the way it says to.
Yeah, I just follow the instructions on the package.
Yeah, that's one of Tracy's favorite substitutes.
My husband.
And I'll tell you,
try that.
yeah, when Tracy told me about that, I bought some, and I like the flavor. I just can't chew it. It stays too rough, and my jaw can't handle it.
And what is that?
So, I mean, if I eat peanuts, I have to use the coffee grinder and then put peanuts. I can't even chew peanuts. What was that?
It's palmine.
Linda, what was that?
I was just wondering the name of it. Palmine.
No, it's palmini.
Yeah, palmini.
It's different parts of palmini, rice, and they have pasta.
Palmini.
They have lasagna sheets. So I've used all of them.
Yep. Yeah, and I bought it to try. Yeah, and it's good flavor. I can't chew it. It stays too crisp.
6 of these packets that have 3 servings in them. 6 of these packets for $22. So I thought that was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, they're not cheap. It's pretty reasonable, and that's just about what the right rice is, I think, too. So I had to find another alternative when I couldn't chew that. Not that I didn't like it. It's very healthy, but I just couldn't chew it. Okay. Magda, is that helping? Is it taking some of the salt away?
Not too much. I am adding a little more of the juice and the vinegar now. Let me see. Let me taste it again.
Okay. Sandy, did you try yours, honey? Is it too
Yes,
salty
it's
too?
delicious. No, mine is just
No, it's
perfect.
not. See? And who else is cooking here? Jill, is yours salty?
Jill's?
No,
No. See, it's really strange. It just depends on, I don't know if
Your
it's
taste.
the temperature. Yeah, your taste. I like salt, but I don't want it extra salty either. So you ladies are happy. Sandy, was it good? Did you try it?
Oh, it's very good.
You guys
Good.
don't forget to send
Good.
me a photo, okay? So that my editor can weave your photos in. And I apologize if my email wasn't working for about a week and a half and I didn't realize. So some of your emails from a couple of shows ago, I didn't get into the final, but
Oh,
I would
that
like
might
to,
be why.
yeah, that's, oh, my email wasn't working. I missed those. But I would also like to invite anybody else who's here for the first time to come and cook with us next week. What are we making next week, Gloria?
I was hoping you'd pull that up because I
Okay,
can't
I'll
pull
pull
it
it
up
up.
when I have this screen up.
I'll pull it up right now and let you guys know.
Tracy saves the bait every day.
Nah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, you do.
let's see. And the
The
recipe
way I have to work
that's
on the
from
computer, I can't pull it up. What was that?
Spanish tortilla de
Oh,
patata.
yeah, torta.
Torta,
Tortilla de patata
torta.
in Spanish, yes. Torta de patata, which is a Spanish
Yummy.
torta. It's like, I call it like almost like a quiche, but we
Mhm.
use white sweet potatoes for it. Unless you don't have inflammation, you can use regular potatoes. But in Spain and in Portugal, it's huge. Even in your little tapas bars, you go have a glass of wine and you're standing up, you don't even sit. Yeah, Magda's shaking her head. And they'll give you little pieces. They'll make it instead of in a dish like a pie, they'll make it in a square one. And they cut little squares, and that's your appetizers. That's your tapas, and it's delicious. So it's wonderful for breakfast. You can make it and then have it instead of potatoes with a fried egg. It's wonderful for lunch, like a quiche with a salad or a vegetable, or for dinner. So it's a real fun dish. It's not hard to make. So if you can find white
tapas.
sweet potatoes or those purple ones that I gave a big article about, make sure that you have those ready. And if you can't find them and you don't have inflammation, using regular potatoes is just fine. Linda, Elsie?
has anybody bought the potatoes? Like, I don't know if it was Amazon, but I found, because I can't find the white sweet potatoes and I don't eat regular potatoes. Online, has anybody ever bought them online? I just can't.
Sake.
I didn't know they had them.
The white sweet potatoes. I saw they had them online.
Wow, that would
it.
be great. Be our guinea pig, because if they do, my God, I'll have them delivered to my door. You don't know what I go through. My adopted daughter in Alabama sends them to me. My 30-year plus fabulous best friend in Idaho at my institute sends them to me. I mean, do you know what it costs to send big white sweet potatoes in the mail? I mean, it costs more to mail them than the potato. But Sandy's laughing, but it's true. And in Texas, of all places, they don't have white sweet potatoes. They looked at me in the produce department like I had two heads when I asked for them.
I've been able to get them
Linda?
at Sprouts. They have had
Yeah.
the white ones. I'll buy them when they have them.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magda.
Yeah, so yesterday we went to the Nugget to buy our stuff for this dish, and outside they had a big display of sweet potatoes. One of them was Japanese sweet potatoes, orange sweet potatoes, purple, and the red yams. I mean, I never heard of Japanese sweet potatoes or orange.
Oh my God, they're delicious.
That's
they're delicious.
The one.
Aren't they smaller?
That's the one. Yeah, Murakami.
Mhm.
But there's different purple potatoes. There's the
Yeah.
Murakami that I wrote about that looks purple on the outside, but when you cut it, it's a color of a potato. Then there's the purple ones that I call Hawaiian ones, because any of you that have been to Hawaii, if you order mashed potatoes or French fries, they're purple.
They're
Ah.
purple.
The inside is purple and they're delicious, but they're a little different to use in different dishes. You don't want them in everything, but they still taste like a potato. So the Murakami is purple outside and the regular flesh color on the inside. Did you buy any, Magda?
No, not yet, but I was talking to Alex and said we need to incorporate more sweet potatoes in our diet. So we're going to buy some and try some.
Yes.
Don't know how to
Yeah,
cook it.
buy one of each. Buy one of each and make a note on which one you like. That's what I had to do.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But in Idaho,
Look
they
at
don't
this.
just grow regular potatoes, they grow white sweet potatoes. So good old Sharon at my institute mails me potatoes about once every 6 weeks, and it costs more than the potatoes cost. So that's really a labor of love. When I say care package, I mean care package.
Awesome.
Okay, any comments? Questions, comments, complaints? Okay, I am working on, as I said earlier, several
Me.
really nice, yeah, I'll get you in a minute, vegetarian dishes that all of us will love, not just people that aren't eating necessarily animal products. Yes, Magda?
No, I just wanted to make a comment. Mine is still kind of salty, but I'm going to make jasmine rice tonight. But that's what we always eat.
Yes.
So I'll just have more rice this time and less of the meat, the chicken, and that should then, balance better.
Well, and add some more water. Let it boil down a little.
Yeah.
Let it reduce. Add some water and let it reduce. Cook it on low a little longer and let it reduce.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, but
Dr.
I love
Gloria?
jasmine rice. It's my very favorite. Yes.
Would there be additional vegetables that could be added that would dissipate a little bit of the saltiness as well as the rice that
Yeah.
you would
The
suggest?
only thing that I know is bean sprouts. They absorb because they're mostly water. So bean
Yeah,
sprouts,
and
if you
they're
cut them
very
up, and
Yeah.
they're very good, and they also could be a vegetarian version of it. So if you buy some bean sprouts, that will
Great.
absorb a lot of the salt. But it's tough. Once you have a lot of salt, it's tough to get it out. But the rice will help.
Okay.
Yes. Do you cook your rice, your jasmine rice, with chicken broth like I do?
No, I just put it in my steamer and cook it that way. I've
Cook
never
it that way. Okay.
I know that makes it really flavorful, but I love the jasmine rice. The scent of it and the flavor is so good.
Oh my God, the scent. Oh, all he has to do is cook some jasmine rice and I'm hungry, whether I'm hungry or not.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, if you cook it with chicken broth, like I do, don't use chicken broth because it's going to be salty.
Yeah.
You're trying to get rid of the salt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just use water. Yeah, good point. And a dash of butter makes it better. Butter makes everything better. What do you have? You added peas?
I added
Peas.
mushroom and I'm gonna add peas. I think the peas would give it a good color, more color.
Mhm.
It will. It will.
Try to get rid of the salt too.
Yeah, peas and mushrooms.
Yeah, I know it's so much. I'm sorry, but like, see, two out of all of you said it was fine, and the others it was too salty. So, like I said, anytime you're using aminos, don't salt, even though the recipe tells you to, until the very end, because it will not matter if you add some more. I go like that because I have Bragg's in a gallon, of course, and then I have the little spray bottle. So I spray it into I don't measure it, I just spray it into the pan. But when you do that, again, if you buy Bragg's by the gallon at Amazon, it's a lot less expensive. So then we just refill them all. You should see my pantry. And in an apartment, it's very challenging. You open it and it's gallons of everything, white cooking wine, red wine, wine vinegar.
It's the pantry of a chef.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, you should, I guess one of these days I'll get brave enough to take a picture of how I have to save all of my 17 gadgets for cooking, different pans and skillets and Dutch ovens and stuff. We don't have enough shelves. And so Brian put boxes stacked with stuff in them up to about waist height, and all of my pots and pans are at different levels on the boxes. That's my kitchen. Oh yeah, I'm not kidding when I say I'm in apartment type jail because there isn't much room, but it works. I mean, we had to find a way without buying a bunch of expensive shelving that I may not be able to use later. So we just piled boxes along the wall in the dining room, and that's where everything sits. And I will show you all. It's kind of funny. I'll show you someday when I get enough nerve to do it. Okay. Any comments? You're all going to be excited about the torta de papas, the patata next week. It's delicious. Yeah, it's really good. Magda, I know that you have Dutch, and is it Indonesian heritage?
Yes, I'm Dutch Indonesian. My parents
You're
and
Dutch Indonesian.
born in Indonesia, and then after the war they moved to the Netherlands, and that's where they met. We were born.
You were born in the Netherlands?
Yes.
Indonesia.
Yes, in Amsterdam?
No, in The Hague.
Oh yeah, okay. I know The Hague, but not as well as Amsterdam. And it's so much fun because we have people that have such a wide cultural background, and that's what I want to do. Is I just got some new Vietnamese recipes. I got a couple of Cuban recipes that patients of mine have shared through the years, and they're yummy, and they don't have black beans. A lot of people go, oh, I don't like black beans, and all the Cubans know that this is completely different. And then they're vegetarian. So that's the one I'm experimenting with so that all of you can enjoy it. And this is the way that I like to teach, because we learn the cultures of other people, which connects us all. And that's what QHS is all about, connecting all of us. Doesn't matter where you're born, what your custom is. Right now it's Ramadan, so I have a lot of connections with my
Jill
Muslim
has hers.
friends. Wow, does that look good?
Woo, look at how
Wow.
you played it.
Beautiful. Oh, and the carrots are
Yes.
Carrots and the.
Oh, make sure
fabulous.
you take a picture, Jill.
I've already sent them to Tracy.
Oh wow, see? and Tracy, I think we need to be on a little hunt here for some cute chef hats that we can go to the side.
Okay.
They even had some paper ones at one time that I bought for a party, and they were very inexpensive. We'll see what we can do. Jorgen, did you have a comment?
He's
No?
just happy
Okay,
with
the
us
hand went
all.
up accidentally.
He's just our token
thank you.
male. We love him.
He's
Yeah.
our darling.
We love Jorgen. It wouldn't be the same if Jorgen wasn't here. And
I agree.
for those of you
I
that are
agree.
not cooking, it's okay. You don't have to cook. Are you having fun even though you're not cooking? Lisa,
Oh, yeah.
Pat,
Lisa and Pat.
yeah, Linda. So you don't have to. I mean, there's some weeks that the last thing we want to do is prepare for one more thing, right? I understand. I get it. But if you can join us to cook, it's fun, and you'll learn so many new things, and you'll learn mistakes too, like all of us do.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us. We got done on time. Wow, even cooking the chicken. So we will see you next Monday, God willing, at noon Central Time, and have a great Easter, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thanks,
Bon
Linda
appetit,
and Tracy.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Easter.
Take care.